MotorWeek is made possible by TireRack.com, State Farm, and WeatherTech.
We're pretty sure the pioneering hybrid engineers for the Toyota Prius and Honda Insight never imagined something like the Porsche Panamera e-hybrid. But now that hybrid technology has moved from magic to mainstream, Porsche is taking their latest hybrid to a new performance level. And that's only a slice of Panamera news. So let's get to it. The 2018 Porsche Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid is not the first Panamera hybrid, of course, but it's certainly the best yet. And if you're still an enthusiast who cringes when you hear hybrid, you should know that the 918 Spyder plug-in hybrid is the only Porsche more powerful than this one. Total output for the Panamera's 4 driven wheels is 680 horsepower and 626 pound-feet of torque, all from a twin-turbo 4-liter V8 with help of a 100-kilowatt electric motor. The usual drive modes allow you to take control of where you want the power coming from. E-Power allows you to go for a max of 31 miles of battery alone, thanks to 14.1 kilowatt hours of storage, more than enough to run silently past your Tesla-owning neighbor's house. Switch to Sport Plus once you get out of the neighborhood, crack open the throttle, and get max performance from all power sources. Plus, an 8-speed PDK is still there for gearing. Putting aside the EV technobabble, this Panamera feels like the most luxurious sports sedan on the road. A new air suspension is standard equipment for a downright luxurious ride. Yet Porsche insists that it must still handle darn close to a 911 when the time comes. That time for us came at the Vancouver Island Motorsport Circuit, where it didn't take long to come to grips with the immense amount of grip this Panamera has for cornering. And the rush of power coming out of corners is truly epic. All of this despite over 5,000 pounds of weight and more than 16 feet of length. Away from the track, it feels so normal, it's easy to forget you're even in a PHEV until the gas engine kicks in rather curtly, bringing you back to performance car reality. It's a delightful machine that feels as great highway hypermiling as it does corner carving. Visually, the Panamera got a makeover just last year, though it still tends to simply look like a stretched 911. The Turbo SE Hybrid gets 21-inch wheels and Porsche ceramic composite brakes, on which they insist on adding acid green calipers. Likewise, inside, the familiar upsweeping console was redesigned last year, with touch panel controls replacing many of the previous gen switches and knobs. It may look less like an airplane cockpit now, but we find touch panels still frustrating at times. Admittedly, the Turbo SE Hybrid resides at the top of the Panamera food chain, but there's still a surprising for Porsche level of standard equipment. Now, if it's a new look you're looking for, feast your eyes on the Porsche Panamera Sport Turismo. It's not quite a wagon, and since the base Panamera is already a hatchback, we'll agree that it's different, what the Brits might call a shooting brake. The ST's elongated roofline meets some hefty D-pillars, and there's a redesigned hatch to access the small addition to storage space, 18.3 cubic feet over the base Panamera's 17.6. Folding seatbacks expands it to 49 cubic feet. The Sport Turismo also gained an additional seatbelt in the rear for taking along an additional passenger. Now, in order to get the complete Panamera picture, when it came time to get one for our home test track, we opted for the lengthy, high-powered opulence of the Panamera Turbo Executive. 5.9 inches may be added to the wheelbase for more rear seat legroom, but the 550 horsepower 4-liter twin-turbo V8 under the hood is more than enough to get it down the track in a hurry. We hit 60 in just 3.5 seconds, clearing the quarter mile in 11.8 at 120 miles per hour. PDK launch control is as brutal and flawless as always. We never get tired of experiencing it. And just in case you're wondering, the Turbo SE Hybrid with its electric assist can do the 0 to 60D in just 3.2 seconds. To sum it all up with pricing, expect to pay at least $185,450 for the Turbo SE Hybrid. Ouch! So you're not just paying for the experience, but for the tech behind it. The Sport Turismo starts at a much more reasonable $97,250, around 10 grand over a base Panamera. The Turbo Executive resides in between at $161,050. Porsche's no-compromise approach for the 2018 Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid, combined with the truly different Sport Turismo, shows that Porsche is just getting started with its biggest car ever. And while many question building a 5-door sedan in the first place, after just 7 years, it's hard to imagine the brand without it.